And it looks like we are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to Jason Hebert Live. We have tonight for you another missing persons interview. If you're not familiar with the channel, we do these 5 to 7 times a week, pretty much every day. So please click subscribe below and make sure to set the notification bell to all if you are into any kind of true crime stories, but especially hearing about missing persons, trying to help solve the cases, trying to help the families. We speak directly to them. So we do provide you an opportunity to do that. Just make sure to click subscribe and set the notification bell to all, and you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Hello to everybody in the chat, Lisa, Dave, everyone. And Dave is from Be United, which is a group I work with. www.b-united.org, as well as their Facebook group will be linked below. We have been having issues with my comments not showing up. I've been told it's how you sort them. Some people can see them, some people can't. So that's where I was putting all my links in the pinned comment. Going forward, you should see it in the description, all the links, and the pinned comment. So please let me know if you guys can see it in either of those. You just have to hit show more in the description. But we'll have the guests, the guest information, my information, everyone you can contact regarding the case. So without further ado, hello, Tatitude and Liberate. Thanks for joining us. But without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, and then we will introduce our guest, Linda. In July of this year, Rick Hamilton had left his West Virginia home and was staying in Pecos, Texas, while working on an oil rig. He had been staying at what is commonly known as a man camp in Pecos, but had went up to Pano, I'm probably saying that, or Pano, Texas, to stay in a hotel room with a friend. Linda can correct me if so. Sorry, Linda. There's a lot of P words in the story. Rick had been dealing with substance abuse issues for at least the past couple of months and had gone up to Pano for that reason. But after getting into an argument with his friend, he left the hotel room early Friday morning, July 31st, at 3:57 a.m., walked a couple of miles to the Quick Trip store, and then took a Lyft ride to the Greyhound station in Dallas, Texas. He boarded bus 1409 back towards Pecos at 7:21 a.m. When the bus stopped for a 30-minute rest stop in the city of Abilene, he texted his wife, Linda, to update her. All seemed well. But when Linda called Rick on her way home from work at her 2 p.m., his 1, Rick was acting paranoid and told her he was getting off the bus and was going to be walking on a road with desert on both sides of him. That is the last time anyone has heard from Rick Hamilton. When another person moved into Rick's old room in the man camp, they found 2 of his old phones and they sent them to Linda. Though neither of these 2 phones were the one Rick was using that day, the Google location links them all. And with Linda now in possession of them, she would and will be able to see Rick's location if he turns the phone he has with him on. But his last location he was tracked was C&C Country Store in Colorado City, Texas, on the outskirts of Sweetwater, Texas. It was about an hour or so from when he had called Linda that he was getting off the bus, paranoid. Since then, he has not been heard from or tracked in any capacity. Tonight, we have Linda Nicola Williams on to tell Rick's story in the hopes that if you know something, anything about Rick's whereabouts, that you please come forward. Linda, thank you for coming on the show today. And I just want to say that I'm so sorry for what you're going through.
Thank you.
And you do have my support as well as my team and everyone in the chat. They'll have some questions for you, and we'll do our best to try to figure this out and get this pumped out everywhere we can.
Thank you.
So why don't you start first by telling us a little bit about Rick, and then kind of lead us into what we do know in the days before he went missing.
Rick is my husband. His name is Rick Allen Hamilton. He goes by Richard sometimes. He's 6 foot tall. He weighs approximately 175 pounds. He has hazel eyes. He has multiple tattoos on his body. He has a heart of gold. He's very, very sweet. He's battling some addictions, but he's getting through it. Everybody loves him. Everybody's worried about him. He was last seen wearing a white t-shirt and blue jeans. My gut feeling is he's somewhere in the Colorado City area, maybe Sweetwater, maybe Big Springs, Texas. I've been married to him for 7 years, and we've been together for 10 years. But he's a really great guy. He's just struggling right now, and I want him found. He deserves to be found. I love him very much.
Absolutely. So do you want to go into, so he was staying at the man camp, which I guess is where the guys that work on the oil rig stay, but he had went up to go and stay with a friend. Do you want to discuss the circumstances of that and why, what was going on, things like that?
He was staying at the camp, and he went to Dallas or to Plano to get drugs. And he was staying with a friend there. From what I understand, the day he texted me, I was asleep when he was texting me. He said they got in a fight. He was leaving the hotel room because it was in their name, and he started walking. And I didn't know where exactly he was walking to because he didn't tell me. But then later on, when he gets paranoid, he sends me all his money. Well, later on that morning, it was about between 5 and 6 in the morning, he texted me and asked me for $30 for a lift. I knew he was going to the Greyhound station because he was going back to where he worked, because Friday, he went missing on Friday. Saturday is his payday. So, and I know he got to the Greyhound station because he dropped me a Google pin to prove to me that he was at the Greyhound station. And I know I've seen the confirmation in his email about him buying the e-ticket to go to Pecos. From my knowledge, what I know, he did get on the bus, because I kept on asking him, where are you? Where are you? And he kept on saying, on a bus. And then he got really mad, and he was like, I told you I was on the bus. And then I was like, okay. And then I know at 10:30 that morning, he called his buddy at the man camp, I think his name is Cody, and arranged for a ride from the Pecos station back to Pyote, because Pecos is probably an hour from Pyote. The guy said, yeah, he'd be there. Rick told him to be there at 4 because the bus was supposed to be there at 3:57 that afternoon. And the guy showed. He said he waited for about 2 hours, and Rick never showed up. So we don't know what, something happened between Abilene and Pecos, because he never showed up in Pecos, and I know for a fact he was in Abilene. So,
and you do know that he left Abilene because when he called you, he was on the bus moving, right?
Yes, sir. I know he left Abilene because he told me he went, I was on the phone with him at work, and he told me, whoa, wait a minute, the bus is leaving me. And he went up to the bus, and the bus driver told him, no, I'm just shutting the door. It's hot. Y'all still have a few minutes to smoke. And I don't know if he got on the bus or not, but that to me pretty much shows that he was getting back on the bus. I talked to him a couple hours later when I got off work, and he told me, he was like, I got paranoid. Everybody was out to get me on the bus, and he got off the bus and started walking. I asked him to look at his Google Maps, tell me where he was. And he said, I'm walking down a road with deserts on both sides of me. I'll never forget that, because that's pretty much the last conversation we had. So, and now since I have his old phone that's linked to his Google account, his last location on this Google Maps is the CNC Country Store. And I called and talked to them. They have flyers up. He did try to go back in his video, but because it's been so long, his video had already started overlapping, if that makes sense.
Okay. We have a question from Attitude 1959. Did he say what he was paranoid about while on the bus, and was he under the influence at the time?
I know for a fact that he did meth in the hotel room. He did not have any on him when he left because he was paranoid he was getting set up. I know he didn't have any on the bus. He was paranoid of being set up, but he thought everybody on the bus was them. I don't know who them is. Me and his sister have tried to figure it out, but I think it was all, I always tell him, Rick, it's all in your head. Nobody's out to get you. And I guess because he tried to call me a couple times before I got off work, and my boss was there and I couldn't answer it. And I think it just got overwhelming for him. So he got off the bus. I'm thinking it was Sweetwater, comparing our times. I think it was Sweetwater. And he started walking towards Pio. And that's what it looks like on his Google Maps too, is that he got off the bus and started walking. And I don't know what happened when he got to CNC Country Store, but in that area is when his Google location goes off. I know for a fact he bought a charger at the bus stop that morning because he told me he almost missed his bus because he was buying a charger. So I know he has a charger. I know he has phone service because I've even paid for this month's phone service just to make sure his phone stayed on, just in case he needs it. I don't understand. It's not like him to even go a day without messaging me. Even if I'm mad as I can be at him, he still messages me and asks me if I'm over being mad at it.
Yeah, it's not like him.
No, sir. And I mean, he's a social butterfly. He talks to people that he knew in high school still. And he talks to all of our friends, no matter where they've moved. I mean, he's Facebook junkie. That's what I used to call him because I hate Facebook. He loves it. But he hasn't been on it since July 31st. He hasn't responded to anyone.
So he hasn't responded. Have you been looking at his active status or anything like that to make sure? Or?
Yes, sir. The last time his active status is when the guys was July 31st until the guys found the phone and they went on it and they made everybody freak out because they thought Rick was back online, but it wasn't. It was them. And then when I got the phones, Nick, was it yesterday? I got the phones yesterday and I had to turn it on and connect it to the internet so it made them active again. But I posted for all his family and friends to know that it's just me checking the Google. But I had to put it online. I couldn't get the information without being online.
Okay, so you do have the Google Maps thing where you can track them, but have you tried like with the authorities tracking like serial numbers, SIM cards, that kind of stuff?
I've asked the Dallas Police Department if we could do a dump on his phone, and they said no, that the circumstances don't warrant the search warrant. I've also asked if they could check into his bank account because I've tried to call his bank and his bank was like, they can't give out information because I'm not on the account. We had two separate accounts and they said they couldn't give out anything, but they could to the police. So I've asked them to do that. Straight Talk, he has his phone through Straight Talk. It's a prepaid phone. And I've talked to them and I have to wait for the police report. But as soon as I get the police report, they will send me his phone log. But I don't know about text messages, but I have to have a police report and I'm waiting on it. I've been waiting for about 11, 12 days now.
Okay. You are on.
Yes, sir. I'm on that. Trying to think of what else I've tried to do. I tried to check his Facebook location, but there is none. I don't know. I think you have to be on the phone that they're using to check that, the Facebook location. But I'm still, I'm trying to find someone to talk to about the phone to see how I can do a dump. Because I know there's programs out there. I just don't know how to use them. And I don't want to mess up it's pretty much the only evidence I have of where he might be. So I'm being really careful with his phone.
Okay. And I might have a guy. Do you hear that feedback?
No, sir.
Oh,
it sounds really good.
Oh, good. So it's probably just my headphones. I might have a guy you can talk to about that. We will, 1 second. We would definitely contact him. It's pretty good with tech stuff, so it's worth a shot. How long was he in Texas working before he disappeared?
He's been in Texas probably for about a year now, off and on. At Akita, he'd work 2 weeks, come home 2 weeks, work 2 weeks, come home 2 weeks. And then his buddy Kobe got him or talked to him about coming to work for Roughnecks. And that's where he went missing from, is Roughnecks. So he started working for about 6 weeks and then coming home for a week, week and a half. The last time he was home was the end of May, beginning of June.
Okay.
So, and it's just, he was trying to get stuff together because we didn't realize they weren't taking out West Virginia taxes. So he was trying to get caught up a little bit. So.
So the last person he's seen with is this friend. Well, not physically, but I mean the last person he knew.
That we knew he was with. Yes, sir.
And have you tried to get any information from her about what she may know?
My missing person advocate has. She has not responded. I know her only by her last name. So her last name is Rage. But from what I understand from from Karen, my missing person advocate, she has not replied to any of our messages.
And I believe you told me you're not even that feedback. Sorry, I believe you told me that you're not sure if she has even seen them yet. We can check that.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure if she has. And I was reading the comment down here. I just put him in the NamUs system. I'm waiting. It has a pending number. It doesn't have, they said they had to verify it with Dallas PD, and then they would approve or make it a case. But I literally just finished doing the NamUs yesterday. Okay. And it's not that, let me explain to everybody, it's not that I didn't care, but my husband went missing July 31st and my brother died in my house August 19th. So I've been dealing with two tragedies. So Rick, I don't want to say he was put on the back burner, but other people were helping me with him while I was trying to bury my brother. So please don't think that I don't care. It was just a lot for me.
No, we would never think that. I'm so sorry about your brother as well. What a horrible time overall for everything.
Yes, sir, it was. So I'm blessed to have a missing person advocate as Karen. She is amazing. So, but I've got him in Dallas PD, finally took the missing persons. We finally got him in NCIC about 3 weeks ago. NamUs is supposed to be getting back to me. They have to talk to the cops. I've called. My next step is to get him in Texas Clearinghouse, I think is the name. It's for missing people too.
Okay. Have you spoken to the bus driver, the CNC clerk, or whoever would have been there, or people at the man camp? Have you kind of exhausted all your options that way?
I've talked to everybody that I can think of at the man camp. I've talked to his boss at the man camp. Now the boss that was there before, right as Rick went missing, he got fired. His name is Chris Covey, and I can't get him to respond to me. I have a phone call into actual Roughnecks in Oklahoma because that's the name of that's the company he actually worked for. But Wayne Brown is the new boss, and he hadn't even met him. But yes, sir, he checks on me every couple of weeks to see if he's came home yet. The men at the man camp talked to me and Karen. They're trying to figure out. They try to tell us anything they can to try to figure out where he is. I've talked to the Greyhound station to confirm that he did get on the bus. I've talked to CNC Country Store. They are amazing. I talked to the owner, and he's the one that told me if it would have been 2 weeks ago I called him, he would have had video, and we could have checked the video. But because I just got the phones yesterday, that video is recorded over already. But he did go and check it. I did email him a flyer. He did stick it up. Colorado City Police have a flyer that they put up. Mitchell County has a flyer. Ward County knows that he's missing. Pyote Police Department knows he's missing. I've talked to even the police department up here where I live in Wheeling has a case on him too. So I've tried to alert everybody about him missing. So
it sounds like you've covered all those bases. I'm just trying to think of anyone else. We do have a question. Is there any chance he would hitchhike or that he would attempt to get back home to West Virginia?
When we couldn't find him that Sunday, Friday he went missing. Sunday I started worrying. I was hoping and praying, but it's been 6 weeks. He would have made it here by now. I think he would have made it here by now. And I pray every day that he knocks on my door. Every day I pray. So.
Yeah, even if he got sidetracked and maybe if he was using or whatever, but at least if he is doing something like that, if you happen to see this, Rick, please, the main thing is that you're safe. That
Yep.
she wants to know, of course.
Yes, sir. And the thing is July 31st, he went missing. He got paid August 1st. So everyone keeps on asking, did he go missing on purpose? I know me, myself, if I knew I had a $3,000 paycheck the next day, I would have waited that 12 hours before I went missing. I don't understand why. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And even if he's out on a drug bender, wouldn't you want that check to go get more drugs?
Especially.
Yeah. And I know for a fact, because he sent me all his money, as he always does when he gets paranoid, that he has no money. So for him to do it on purpose or to be out on a drug string, no matter how you look at it, he would have waited that 12 hours to get his money because he had none.
Yeah, especially that close. It's not like a couple weeks. I mean, you're talking one day, not even half day.
Half a day, and he would have had, I'm not sure it was 3,000. I just know it was a big check is what the man camp told me. I mean, so I don't understand. I mean, I know he's an adult. I know he can go missing if he wants, but I don't know anyone that would go missing 12 hours before payday.
I completely agree there. Okay, yeah, that's a troubling detail because I can't imagine any scenario he wouldn't want that money.
And all he had on him, all he was carrying was, the Monster drinks.
Mm-hmm.
He saved the tabs and he got a Monster book bag many, many years ago. And he loves that book bag. He had that Monster book bag, maybe one change of clothing and his tablet. That's it. That's all he had. So.
Okay. Is there anyone in his family that he might go to? Someone in the chat?
Someone we've checked. I talked to his sister that lives in Georgia. His mom and other sister live in New York with his brother, and I talk to them pretty much daily. And nobody has heard from him. His cousins haven't heard from him. All his friends in other states, because some people were saying that he was talking about going to Florida. We have a friend down there, and both of our friends. I've talked to him. I talked to the guys up here that he used to work with. I've talked to the people in Nikita that he used to work with. Nobody has heard from him. I had one of his friends have to come and help me yesterday. My car died, and he's just beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to look. He was like, I've never gone this long not talking to Rick. And that's what everybody says, is they've never gone more than 1 or 2 days without hearing, hey, what's up, something.
Okay. Tatitude asks, has the desert on both sides of that road been searched or a drone fly over? She says he could have gone off road, gotten lost, then got dehydrated or heat exhaustion leading to confusion.
That is my worst fear, is that he's lost in the desert. And I don't think we just found out Friday his last known location. The only known location before that was Abilene and Dallas. So, and law enforcement really hasn't done it, but I think it's mainly because he's an adult. And that's one thing that I've been trying to tell everybody. He might be an adult and he might have made mistakes, but he's still worth finding. He's my husband, and I want him found. If I had the money and I could go out there, I would search myself in that desert, because I really believe he's somewhere lost.
Yeah.
And it's hot in Texas. I mean, I don't know if anyone's been to Texas. It is hot. I went to visit him in January and in March, and it is just really hot out there. And if he's in that desert, I couldn't even imagine.
You had mentioned law enforcement. Oh, sorry, we're hearing really bad feedback on my end, and the chat is too. It's only for a second though. But Be United Missing Person says that's enough for law enforcement to believe he qualifies for missing status, having left the money behind.
It took me, Karen, thank the Lord for Karen. She is the one, after 3 weeks of him missing, 3 weeks it took me to get a missing persons report on him. And I could not believe it took that long. And it wasn't that, I mean, there was plenty of bolos out there, but I needed him in the NCIC so I could get help. And Dallas finally did it. But I was given the runaround because of it being on a Greyhound bus. You know, everybody is jurisdiction problems. But I had called, before Karen got it, went to my police department. I had called everywhere in between Dallas and Pecos. I had called the FBI here. I had called the FBI in Texas. I even tried to call the Texas Rangers. I didn't know what to do. And Karen came in and just helped me, and we got the missing persons, and on his flyer is his case number. So I was trying to read what they wrote, but I've tried, I'm keep on trying. I've dealt with my brother. So now I'm on top of Rick and trying to find out. I've called CNC. I've called, I keep web with the police every day. I've done the NamUs. I'm doing the Texas Clearinghouse, and I'm going to try. I put in a call to the detective, letting him know that I have new information about Rick's whereabouts. So I'm hoping that maybe with this phone now, they can at least start a search. But I don't know. I don't know what the laws are or how it works. I've never been involved in anything like this.
If anybody knows the information that can help her, please feel free to either say it here, or you can message her at the links in the description in the pinned comment below. But Dave Wilson asks, have you tried contacting halfway houses or rehabs in the area, or shelters and food kitchens?
I haven't done the halfway houses, haven't done the shelters or the food kitchens. I have tried rehabs and I've tried mental institutions, but them two will not release any information to me whatsoever. So it's privacy, yeah. No matter if I'm his wife or not, it doesn't give me the right to know for those two things. I've even talked to some of the managers or head overs, and they just said if he was there and they gave me the information, he could sue them because of the patient-doctor confidentiality.
Okay.
I did. I've texted a couple of Texas news stations, but I never heard back.
Okay. And Robin McClure, yes, she asked, have you tried going to any news station?
You're breaking out.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know. Got next.
The biggest, yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know. Your voice keeps on going in and out.
It's funny. I talk to people who use just their little free mic on their laptop, and we have no problems. And I have this mic that I think was like $600, and it's always trouble.
Always.
Can you read the questionnaire in the screen? Just if I keep breaking up, maybe that'd be better.
It says, will news stations broadcast him as missing? I've tried. The biggest problem I have is I'm in West Virginia and he's missing in Dallas. So I could probably get West Virginia to do it, but it doesn't really do any good if it's not where he's missing. Does that?
Yeah.
But I do have emails in, but nobody's ever emailed me back.
Okay.
But I do have it posted all over the internet.
Yeah, and we have people suggesting the shelters and things like that. So we can. I know Be United's pretty good. Sometimes they look around those places, food kitchens. So I'm sure they'd be willing to help with that. Am I sounding okay now, or?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
All right. Sorry for that, guy. My audience is kind of used to it. I always have some kind of tech issue. Sorry. So give me just a moment. Yeah, HIPAA violation. Someone said, yeah, that was the word I was trying to think of. So Be United says, if we call them and give them your info to call you, would that be okay? Meaning the news stations?
Yes. Y'all can give out my information to anyone that can help me find my husband. because that's the biggest thing is I don't know where to turn. I'm doing as much as I can that I can think of. I Google everything. I write down notes. I have charts. I'm just trying my best just to find him. And whatever that takes, whoever it takes, I will definitely help. All the police departments are so tired of hearing from me. I call them all. I've called, since we found his location, I've called Sweetwater, Colorado City, and Mitchell County.
And you said what he was wearing and carrying. I know you wanted to go over some of his tattoos or identifying marks.
Yes, sir. He has several tattoos. On his back is the main one that everyone will know it's him. He has a dragon, but the guy messed up and gave him two tails. So the dragon on his back, and it covers a big part of his back, has two tails. His hold on, I'm making sure I have the right arm. The right arm has a half sleeve. It goes from his shoulder to his elbow, and it's a bunch of different things. On his left side, he has, on his left forearm, he has like an embedded clock. It's really cool looking. I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like 3 pieces and it's coming through his skin. It's not actually coming through his skin, but it's just a tattoo that looks like it. He has on the back of his wrist on his left hand, he has an old girlfriend's name. It's Lori, Laurie. And then he has a ring tattooed on his wedding finger, his wedding band finger.
Okay.
So, he's really bad about, sometimes he'll shave his head and it'll be completely shaved, or sometimes it'll look like that picture that just showed. He sometimes has a mustache, sometimes doesn't, sometimes has a beard, sometimes doesn't. He'll get in his moods and he'll shave it all off, and then he'll get in his moods and let it grow. So as you can tell with his pictures, because all those are recent pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say he has a lot of different looks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a picture. I was waiting for it to come up. That one right there, he sent to me the night, not that one. That one right there is the one that he sent to me the night before he went missing. He took a selfie and he sent that. So that is his recent picture, most recent picture.
Yeah, and you can tell in his eyes that he had been using.
Yes, sir. You can tell the difference in the pictures when he's using, drunk, or sober.
Yeah, usually you can, and definitely in that case you can. I actually noticed that earlier because all the other ones he looks, healthy and good in his eyes, but that one you can tell he has something going on.
I hate that picture, but I have to show it because it's his last, literally less than 24 hours before he went missing. He sent that to me. So he was in the hotel room when he sent it to me, though. All
right, guys. So again, it could change again, of course, but this is his most recent. I'll try to zoom in. Because he's kind of traveling, of course, it's possible his beard would have grown out and his hair and everything. But either way, this is the look the last known look that he had.
Yes, sir. And 9 times out of 10, he's always in a white T-shirt and jeans.
Okay. Be United Missing Person says they'll try to get him on the news first thing tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
And closure you need. We have some words of support from Yvette Aubin, from most of the chat giving you support. And I think my mic's fixed now. Sorry about that, guys. Be United does ask any scars or piercings.
I've been trying to figure out the scars. I've asked his sister, and we cannot think of any. It's not something I can't. If it is a scar, he has a mark on this side of his face where he was on the oil rig and it burnt him, and it's just a little scar, but it is a scar. But he has no piercings.
Okay.
Every once in a while, he'll try to pierce or re-pierce his ears, but he really doesn't wear earrings. He hasn't done that in 7 years. So he was trying to gauge him at first.
Gauge him?
Yeah, himself. It was funny.
I got to say, I know Karen's on it, but I would really like to talk to that friend, Rager. I think you said her last name was? Yeah,
her last name is Rage. I wish she would reach out to any of y'all and just Let us know if she's heard from him, because that's the last known person he was with. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at all. I just want to find my husband. And I mean, she is the last one with him.
Right. Someone is asking date of birth in the chat. I don't know if you want to give that out. Or...
Yeah, he's 37 and he was born March 9th, 1983. Okay. 1983. Y'all, if you meet him, he's really, really nice. He's funny. He's usually just crazy. I mean, he's a really good guy. He's fun to be around.
Do you know who he bought the meth from that day?
Her.
She's the dealer?
She's the dealer. I guess she was supposed to be the plug or something. I don't know. He was trying to explain to me. And then I guess after he left, they got in the fight and they left. She sent him a message that he screenshot to me and was like, I have no money, no dope, no nothing. And I was like, Rick, she's not a plug. She's a user, dude. And I was like, you just need to go home and be done with it. And that's what I've been trying to tell him for a month and a half. I've been trying to tell him to go to rehab and get help, because it's not healthy for him, especially. It's not healthy for anyone, but him, it's very little, and he is paranoid. Everybody is out to get him. Everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. And it breaks my heart to see him like that, because he's so intelligent when he's sober. Like, he is highly intelligent, very loving, would do anything for me. And that's one thing, like, Karen's talked to everybody and he really loves me. And I believe that. I just think he makes stupid decisions when he does stupid things.
Yeah, and unfortunately that stuff can turn the brightest person into just kind of going out of it. It does it to everybody.
I just don't want anyone to hold that against him, because no matter if he's doing dope, no matter if he's drunk, no matter what, he's not trash. He deserves to be found. Everybody deserves to be found and looked for. And I want him to know, and everybody else to know, I'm not stopping till I find something. I want to know something about my husband, because he deserves it. And if I had the money or the way, I would be in Texas right now in Sweetwater searching for him myself. But I just can't do it. I've been through too much here lately. And he supported me pretty much 90%.
Yeah, unfortunately, victim blaming is a very real thing, and it's not right. As like you said, everyone deserves. Whether or not you should be looked for, it shouldn't be dependent on if you made a mistake or two, you know?
Yes, sir. And it feels like when I talk to, I'm not saying it's the case, it just feels like, to me, they're interested up until the time I say, yes, he was high. And then it seems like they lose interest. It doesn't make him a different person. He's still human. He still has a mom. He still has sisters. He still has a brother. He still has nieces and nephews that love him, and a wife that loves him, stepsons that love him. I mean, it's not fair to him. He needs to be searched for.
Absolutely. And we're going to do our best to get this out to everybody in Texas. And I know you put it in some Texas groups already, because I'm in those groups too. So I saw your post there, but I'll put it in every group nationwide. I'm in about 200 of them. So we'll get this everywhere we can.
I have posters up in West Virginia and all the places that he loves to go up here. I've been putting out flyers. Wheeling, West Virginia Police Department has a case on them. I mean, everybody. I mean, Wheeling touched me one day. They told me, they said, I told them that I got it in Dallas in the missing persons. And they said, well, every cop between here and Dallas and Pecos should know about him because you called enough. And it made my day. I know it probably aggravates them, but I'm not going to stop.
Absolutely. Nor should you.
No. And everyone can tell me that they think it might end up bad or whatever, but I'm not going to believe that until it happens, till I know. Because he's my husband and I'm going to keep faith no matter what.
And we have Tattitude suggesting a silver alert nationwide, saying he qualifies. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. And we also have someone asking, what is the name of the man camp and where is it?
The man camp is in Pyote. Give me 1 second to look in his phone, and I can give you the exact name and the exact address.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing I'm trying not to do, is not to give out any faults.
Yeah, that's very important. So take your time. There's no, you have all the time in the world.
Thank you.
Anybody, if you have any questions, I'm sorry about my mic issues, but while she's looking for that, you can ask a question or two. You guys have been pretty good in asking already, but anything else, feel free to put them in there and we'll try to get them to Linda.
The man camp is called Skyport RV Park, and it's at 903 Rogers Street, Pyote, Texas.
And how do you spell that city name?
It's Pyote. I can show it. Can I show it on my camera?
Yeah, let's see one.
Oh, never mind. Won't work.
Too bright.
It doesn't show anything, but yeah, that is where all his stuff was, and that's where the phones were found, and that's where he left from. And that's where he was supposed to go back to. And they miss him. I mean, I hear from them all the time, just telling me how wonderful he was, how they miss his laugh and his goofiness, and just how if you were having a bad day, he would just come up and you didn't have a choice but to smile. You didn't have a choice but to smile. I mean, I just don't want people to define him because of his struggles, because that wasn't who he was. I mean, I've been married to him for 7 years, and this has just been the last couple of months that he got back into this. So, and it wasn't an everyday thing, because he was still working, he was still doing everything. And some days I knew he wasn't. And then I finally busted him. And I mean, when I asked him, he just came out and he said, yes, I know you're going to be mad at me and you don't want to talk to me again, but I can't lie to you. So I give him thumbs up for that.
Absolutely. It's a question in the chat, but we did answer that. So we're going to pray here that, of course, he's out there walking around, whether it be confused, scared, on a bender. I mean, whatever it is, those aren't ideal situations, of course, but as opposed to any darker alternatives. So we're going to keep hope that he's out there walking around. If he does have a way to hear this, do you want to give him a direct message if you can speak to him?
Rick, if you're hearing this, please call me, call your sisters, call your mom, call anyone. Let us know you're okay. Everybody is worried about you. Everybody, baby. Nobody's mad at you. Just come home. Come home to me. The door is always open, and I will be here with open arms. I love you. Just please be safe and come home.
Okay. Yeah, so if you're out there, Rick, please, everybody's really worried, as she said. We do have a question. What about going to court in your county and applying for temporary guardianship of him as an impaired adult? I think she would mean so you can get records and stuff, would be my guess.
I didn't even know that was a possibility, but I can check into it.
Yeah, might be worth checking out.
Yeah.
Tammy Spang asks, are there any suspicious people that were in his life?
Not to what I know. I mean, the only one that's suspicious is Rage, and the only reason being is because she hasn't contacted anyone. But I've talked to everybody, and everybody loves him. Everybody. And I don't know. I haven't heard anything bad about him. The only thing is his paranoia when he makes stupid decisions. But usually if you met Rick, have a friend for life. I mean, he keeps up with everybody. I can ask him, hey, what about this guy that we worked with 4 years ago? And he's like, oh, I just talked to him yesterday. He's fine. I'm like, what? So, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if something happened on the bus. I don't know. I mean, it's just my worst fear since the beginning is he's in the desert, hurt, can't find his way out or something. So I just don't know. I pray every night.
Okay. And I'm gonna say a prayer for you too. It sounds like he's a great guy, and it's a couple of people in the chat, agreeing with that, of course. Is there anything that I or anyone in the chat didn't think to ask that you want to make sure gets out there, just to make sure we're thorough, whether it be something that happened that day, something he was going through in his life, anybody else that could have any knowledge of where he is, anything like that?
The thing I want to emphasize is that, just like I was telling Karen earlier, I don't care if he's laid up with a woman, as long as he's okay. So don't be afraid to talk to Karen or Greg or Jason or anyone. Don't be afraid. He's not going to be in trouble. I don't care about anything except he's okay. And that's it. That's the bottom line. I just want to know my husband's okay. So please, if you know anything at all, if you think you saw him, anything, just please contact one of us. I know it's in the comments or you posted it, but I set up an email just for him that Karen and Greg have access to. It's rickmissing2020@gmail.com. You don't even have to leave your name. You don't have to do anything. Just leave the tip that you know or whatever you know about Rick. And I'm begging people to come forward because somebody has to know something. Someone has to have seen him. It's not a big town that he went missing in. It's a very small town.
Someone always.
Yes, sir. And I'm just begging them to come up and just tell us. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't at this time. It's been 6 weeks. I've buried my brother. I just want to know my husband's okay. I really do.
Okay, just kind of going through. We have a lot of people wishing you well, but I'm making sure we don't have any additional questions. Okay, so it sounds like we covered everything, Linda, that you wanted to. I just want to make sure we don't cut anything off because I forget to ask or something.
No, I think we just to remind everybody, he either goes by Rick or Richard. Richard is more like his oil field name. I don't know what made him start doing that, but he just started calling himself Richard. I tell him he used to get mad because he would be like, my name's Richard. I was like, I didn't marry no Richard. I married a Rick. But he goes by Rick or Richard.
Okay. Yeah. So guys, if you see him, she described a lot of his tattoos, everything. You can call him either, and please let her know. All the links to get in touch with her and me are below. Oh, lastly, let's real quick. For authorities, you can contact the Dallas, Texas Police, 214-744-4444. Case number 147310-2020.
And it's Detective Richardson.
Detective Richardson.
Yes, sir.
You have Be United's flyer here. Again, their info is below, b-united.org. You can send them tips as well as to my information. I do always say, though, the authorities and the family are by far the best place to send information. If you do send it to me, I'll pass it along. But if you're trying to decide where to send it to Linda. It makes a lot more sense. Or the police. If you're uncomfortable going to one, go to the other. And again, I put both your Facebook and Rick's page. You're okay with that?
Yes, sir. I'm very okay with that. They can hit me up on Messenger, the email. I would give out my number, but I've already gotten some false ransom, so I don't give out my number anymore.
Was it 7,000?
It was 7,000, and he was very bad sick. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's like almost automated message. It's probably went out to 8 people I've talked to. Always 7,000. Just so you don't worry about it.
It was just it hit me. I came home and took a nap after work, and I woke up and I grabbed my phone, and it was the first thing I saw. I was hysterical. I went straight to Wheeling Police Department, and I mean, now that I've read it, not so emotional. I know it was a hoax, but that to me is probably the worst thing anyone has done during this.
Yeah. It's
So
some sick group or single person or whatever it is to do that.
it is sick. So sorry, I can't give out my phone number. I just can't. My
No,
heart
no.
can't take that.
I get it. I totally get it. And if you're listening, whoever you are, that's disgusting, stop. Okay. Because you do it to a lot of people, and a lot of people have mentioned you. So here, there's your legacy right there. Helping
Yes, sir.
destroy people who are already vulnerable. But okay, Linda, you were amazing. You represented Rick so well.
Thank you.
Again, if there's anything else you wanted to add, you can. Other than that, I think we'll finish it up here, and I will start pumping this out to all the groups.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for giving me your time and helping me get this out here.
Absolutely. And Rick, if you're out there, please come home. Or if you're listening to this, even if you know the tiniest bit of information, that's what solves these cases. Please come forward so we can bring Rick home.
Yes, sir.
All right. And have a good night, everyone. Linda, thank you. And thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. And we will see you tomorrow. Please click subscribe and hit the notification bell to all. And please contact Linda if you know anything. And have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Linda.